those of you who managed to come through earlier on to see the exhibition outside, to see the number of people that have turned out for the conference. Majority of optometrists that came, as well as their teams, went up for the introduction, welcome and introduction in the morning, and that room was filled up to capacity. I've been privileged enough to be participating at these SOA conferences for the last 8 years, and the last time there was such a massive turnout like this, where everyone was excited to actually be here, was 2019, and that was a very small seminar, not on the big scale of a conference. So the fact that we could all gather here to celebrate 100 years, it's such an awesome privilege for us within the industry, because we can get to gauge how far the industry has come. And so in preparation for today, I was thinking to myself, where is the industry at? What do optometry practices need? But most importantly, what do people within the optometry practices require? And I titled my presentation, Advanced Business Strategies. For the sake of the mic, I'm very claustrophobic, but if I move away from here, like right now, can everyone still hear me clearly?
Yes.
Because an hour's presentation in this corner here, I will not be able to survive. Thank you very much for putting me at ease by saying that I can be able to move around from the mic. I really appreciate that. I'm recording the presentation, and I will also upload it, or I think the SOA is going to share the slides on their platform, but I will also upload this on YouTube for anyone that would love to access it post the conference. And I'm very informal, so if I say something that you are currently engaging with in the practice, raise your hand, and that question that you could be thinking of, someone else is busy thinking about it, but they're perhaps too shy to actually raise their hand and ask that question. So let's make this as practical as we possibly can, so that when we leave this room, we then know that, wait a minute, on Monday at the practice, that strategy that we discussed at 11 o'clock on the 18th, let's start looking at ways in which we can implement it in our practice. So, just to give you a quick, I like the sound. So maybe my claustrophobia was actually influenced by other factors. Now that I know that the sound sounds very good, I'm now thinking of the video recording. Then the question then becomes, perhaps in our practices, there's a lot of stuff that we have become very comfortable at doing because it makes sense. But the minute we get to step out of our comfort zones, we will then be introduced to other ideas or perspectives or ways of doing things that could inspire us to then implement those things in our practices to elevate it to the next level. Just like I have just experienced right now, that I've always been thinking to myself, I can't function here because of the space. But now that I think about it, a mic was never put in front of me like in this manner with the sound. So now all of a sudden, I'm getting into my comfort zone, but I realize that it's not the same as with the mic. So start thinking about it like that as you go on into the presentation, that the way we have always been operating has brought us this far. There's going to be a lot of ideas that you're going to be learning throughout the day, that you're going to then start thinking to yourself, you know what? This has always worked in our practice, but what if we tweak it this way or that way? What impact does it have in terms of the opportunity to impact our practice? So I actually like that for myself. I like that for myself. So a quick rundown of what the majority of optometric practices find themselves in. This becomes the general day-to-day stuff. I wear different hats. So I also work for one of the lens suppliers, and I get to visit a lot of practices. And one thing that is shockingly common with a lot of practices is that we have become very comfortable with the status quo. And we have allowed patients treatment of us as hawkers in the street to be the norm in our practices. We have this excuse all the time. Patients in my community don't have money. Oh, it's winter, the industry gets quiet. We have excuses that say, you know what, if it's not going to be covered by the medical aid, my patients will not pay for it. And that then becomes the norm for every single person that walks into the practice. What we should be doing is to say the standard of eye care that every single patient deserves and requires and needs, irrespective of their financial circumstances, is this, based on their visual problems and so forth, right? That standard should have nothing to do with their financial capacity. It should always be about what is the absolute best for their visual requirements. Then we present that as a solution. Then the obvious will come. I can't afford, I can't be able to pay for this with my medical aid. But you have laid that seed and that foundation to say, patient, I have educated you on what you actually need based on the problem that you are presented with. Yes, you can't be able to afford to get that which you need right now, but perhaps a year from now, your financial circumstances might change. What will you do by that? You have planted that seed in terms of that which they have been utilizing based on their financial costs. It's not necessarily what is best for them. So you have planted that seed to say, next time you come, this is what you have to be aware that we're going to have to upgrade you to whatever necessary solution. But it also does something else. You're moving their mindset from being, I only have 1,000 rands to go to the optometrist. That same patient, if you had to give them the option of, let's remove your eyes for a week, how would they make decisions pertaining to their vision? So a lot of the times, patients get comfortable making decisions where it's a compromise to their visual needs, but they have made big adjustments to other things that are pretty much frivolous. So we have done a poor job when we focus on this type of approach in constantly educating patients. Practices that are operating here, they don't educate their patients. They tell their patients when their glasses are going to be ready, what promotions are running, and when they need to come back after 2 years. And that's all that's limited to. So if this is where you're at, hopefully I will inspire you in one way or another today to move away from this. There's then a big part of our industry where we then operate on specials, deals. Like I said earlier on, I work for one of the lens manufacturing companies, right? One thing that I would say is that even when the lens manufacturing company runs a promotion and they present it to you in your practice, the worst thing that you can do is to present that solution. I hope my company is not listening. But the worst thing that you can do as a practice is then tell the patient that we're running this promotion and this special. If you're doing that, please stop today. Because we are now associating visual solutions with deals and specials. And we can all agree that has become a norm with our industry. I have got a serious back problem. I go to the back clinic on, it's not William Dugo, it's William Mandela Drive. I go to the back clinic there. I see a doctor, a physio, and a bio. They treated me for my back. My spine, my disc shifted January 2022. So when I made the decision of where I'm going to get treatment, I was shocked to discover that in the physiotherapy, biokinetics space, I never made the decision on the help that I need based on the price that I was presented with. I made that decision based on the problem I was experiencing. And I then looked for which place would provide me with the best outcomes out of the options that were recommended for me. How in the world have we accepted our industry being the norm with this setup? So how should you change it? you should be presenting the two options. So if you've done the examination procedures, staff members, the patient comes in, the optometrist has discussed the management solutions with the respective patient. Presented, you've got this problem, and the best solution to solve this problem of yours will be this pair of glass as a management to solve it this way, and this pair of glass as a solution to solve it that way. Then you know as a practice at the back of your mind, you've got that promotion running, correct? You're not presenting that to the patient. You then presenting the ideal solution, which includes the necessary coatings, the necessary lens index that they need. I don't understand, how do we sell one pair with a higher refractive index and another pair with a different refractive index? Because what this does, we make that second pair as a by the way pair. We don't do it as the main pair that is solving a particular solution. So when the financial constraints come in the conversation, when you're discussing it with the patient, you are then going to utilize the promotion that the lens supplier or the contact lens supplier or the frame company is running to then discount what the patient would have been paying. Make sense? You don't just automatically, oh, Obi, please send me visuals for my social media, like a lot of practices will be doing. It's great. The company wants us to promote the stuff on social media, but for your business, you have to get up to a point where you're moving away from this by getting to a point where we are educating our patients at the level at which they have a deep understanding of what their visual problems are, so that when we then present them with management solutions, that person knows this multifocal pair, I'm using it for these circumstances, and this office lens that has been prescribed, I'm using it for this particular solution that it's going to help the patient. Not, oh, we've got this promotion from this company that's, please don't tell the company. I won't even tell you which company I'm working for. But don't utilize the promotions in a manner in which it's causing you to miss out on opportunities that will involve in, hey, Mr. Swanepoel, you have been wearing these glasses for the last 6 years. When you initially came to our practice, you complained of the following, this. At the time, the solution that we recommended for you solved this. It's 5 years later. Over the years, we have listened to you very carefully. Your visual requirements and needs have evolved. Your working space has changed. We have technology keeps on evolving, so there are actually far more advanced solutions that are available to help you at the level at which you actually deserve. Are they expensive? Mr. Swanepoel, they are priced differently. They're priced differently. Expensive is relative, because expensive is relative in relation to them understanding the value of what you're recommending. So for what I realize is that if people don't have confidence in you as an employee in the workspace, it becomes very difficult for them to trust you. And I don't want to put anyone on the spot, but there's someone in this room here. They have zero confidence in me when I'm wearing the other hat. And they can't trust me because I have not inspired them to have that confidence in me that I can deliver what they say, right? And that confidence is influenced by a whole lot of other things, but they don't have confidence in me. So because they don't have confidence in me, they don't have trust. And if they don't have trust, whatever that I recommend, they won't go with it. So our role within the workspace, by the way, I hope you all are having weekly meetings in your practices. In those weekly meetings, you should be discussing, and meetings and trainings, you should be discussing how do we elevate, improve the patient experience within our practices. And one of those things would be the management options that we are presenting. But I need to move faster. I do spend too long on points. But I think I made my point very clear in terms of, you guys understand that don't ever do this. Whether it be spectacle lenses or contact lenses, you utilize the solution to solve the problem, and then in a manner in which you can then discount it to the patient. So the patient is not, because now what's currently happening, because you presented that as it was, then they still come and tell you that they want it to be discounted, they can't afford, and all those type of things. So where I'm wearing the other hat, I'm finding, or the lab is finding, that almost all the orders are coming with what? Patient's own frame. Because you made the biggest mistake by telling all your patients that the frames are top quality. But you forgot to tell them that the lenses are not going to operate the same. Why? They're using their clothes to rub it. So many mitigating factors. The last time majority of people put their glasses in their case was when they received it the first week. So all of those things, you guys don't educate your patients. You know how I know that you don't educate your patients? I know for a fact you don't educate your patients. Because when they come to collect their glasses, none of you, I'm not speaking to people in this room, by the way. We are speaking to the people that are going to be watching it on YouTube. So save space, right? Save space. We don't educate our patients. You know how I know that for a fact that you don't educate your patients? It's because you call them, Mr. Sonderpool, your glasses are ready. That's it. Mr. Sonderpool comes, it's multifocals, they've got markings, Optom comes out of the room, takes the markings. How dare you, as an optometrist or an optometry practice, not schedule a booking for the collection of the glasses, so that when they come for the collection of the glasses, they're going to, even if it's for single vision glasses, you know what you're going to take that 5 minutes to do? Go through the entire process, how to clean the lenses, how to clean the frame, how to weigh them, the adjustments, all of those type of things, what to pick up on, and most importantly, remember I wear the other hat with the lead. Tell them about the warranty and the guarantee and all of that, because with physiotherapy, what warranty and guarantee is there? The only one is pain. So the time I'm no longer feeling pain, then they've done their job. With us, I sat on the glass, I scratched my lenses. So how come the physiotherapist who is not having warranty and guarantee aspects in the conversation is educating me about the prognosis, doing pain management, but we don't want to educate our patients on how to utilize their glasses. Then you get into a practice. Some practices I have the opportunity of spending half a day there that I work, and then what I would do, I would then show them how to do what I'm actually recommending, right? Then patient surprises me, says, I've been coming here for 10 years, no one has ever done this. I never knew that. Now I'm embarrassed because what do I then say now? Let's move faster, and we have to move very fast. I've got 34 slides. I'm on slide 3. My goodness. Are we still all okay? I have to make a confession. The slides mean absolutely nothing. The slides mean absolutely nothing. If you're waiting for slide number 4, you're going to wait. What's important is for us to be on the same page, so that whatever that we're discussing, and don't forget, I said, don't wait until the end. You're going to forget your question. So if you think of something or an example that you guys can share with the team, by all means, please do so that we can all learn. Even with me going through this process, I'm learning more than you can imagine, because it's amazing. So what needs to happen? Advanced practices. I put them at the very top there. The electronic health records. There are practices sitting here. I won't mention names. I won't expose anyone. But there are practices that are sitting in here. When a patient comes or a patient calls, Dumelang, the guy goes through the whole process. I'd like to make an appointment to have my eyes examined. What's your name, sir? And when would you like to come, sir? Thursday. This Thursday, sir. Oh, like this coming Thursday? Yes. What time? 10 o'clock. Boom, that's it. My gosh. If you're doing that, please stop. I beg you, please stop that, like today. If you have electronic health records, right? Technology has evolved. There are systems out there that you have been utilizing since donkey years. And now you come to the conference, and some of you are coming to the conference, like, I know that company, they do that software. That's it. You have not examined the full extent of what that software can actually do. So your electronic health records, I can think of a company, Nevada Cloud. Nevada Cloud, when they started, they came through with the Spectrum software. That was, I think they started in 2006 or 2009. We're in 2024. What the software, your electronic health records, should be able to tell you. In our second book, this is an example, we mentioned, this was in 2017, we mentioned the category placement of patients. When you're looking at your file and pulling up Dr. Chabalala's file on the system while he's on the line, it should give you a snapshot of Dr. Chabalala's history. He was here this time, he got this, and he has been to us for so many visits. You have to have some form of snapshot on your electronic health records that even when you are talking with your patient on the line, you already have information about why they're coming for the visit in the first place. So, and you're moving away from Dr. Chabalala. We've got an opening this afternoon at 3 o'clock. Instead of saying, when would you like to come? I mean, the other hand, we get daily sales every day. So you need to make your appointments for the whole month, and you know that optometrist, I'm talking to them about that one I'm talking about that one I'm talking about that, because it's going to help me generate my turnover in this manner. Optometry practices don't do that. You're waiting for things to happen, magic to happen. We magicians. What you should be able to be in a position every single month. Your electronic health records, you should be pulling up the data before the start of the month, where it gives you a summary of last year we did 500,000 in August 2023. Our target for this year is 600,000. Now, we saw 60 patients last year in August, and the average spend per patient was this, or out of those 60, this was multifocals, this was single visions, this was the coatings, or we did basic coatings, or we did premium coatings, whatever that should be the summary that you then go into the planning for August 2024 with. So you say, okay, if we're going to say we're going to go to 600,000 and we saw 60 patients, okay, this is what they spend. Now you're planning better. That weekly meeting that we're having, you're not just setting, because the optometrist in the room here, you're not just setting targets for your team and say we're doing 600,000 rand, but you're not giving them a breakdown of this is how we're going to achieve it. So if people don't know how they're going to achieve something, how are they going to end up achieving it? So for me, please, you can come to our stand at stand 41. We do go into more detail with regards how you can be able to structure your electronic health records and what you should actually be utilizing in your business or practices. And so you might be saying, we don't have the finances to invest in all of this, but why can't you invest in the education around it? You can start there. Why can't you invest in the education? So if you're not talking about these, if we go back here, these practices, they can go and find any other optometrist. You're actually not that valuable. Sorry to say that. Because why? All those guys that are outside there, I hope they're not listening, but all those guys that are outside there, they're trying by all means to bypass all of us here, to make it easy for these guys to access their products. And you are just sitting there, not going out of your way to say, wait a minute, how can I go out of my way to personalize the experience of the patient in my practice? We move beyond that, we're operating in this space. So if I then say, okay, I'm not doing contact lenses this year, because it's not that much of an investment. Set yourself a target of the next 2 years. What can I then do, and work it backwards? So that you're then in a position to say, in 2 years' time, this is what I want to have done. And if you are as an optometrist, preparing yourself to what you're going to be doing in 2 years' time, how do you then relay that back to your team? So I'm putting the accountability on both the optometrist and this team, because then you have to equip your team to already start educating the patient around that. So for me, it starts with your electronic health records. It's not just for you to know that patient Dr. Chabalala, his file number is 454. That's not what the records are there for. The electronic health records are there for you to be able to extract data. We are living in the era where data is key. Everywhere else outside of our industry, people are pulling up data. The companies that are outside there, they're pulling up data all the time about the industry so that they can be able to be in a position to say, this is what the industry needs right now. So we need to make an investment in our offering so that we can get our practices to operate at that level. Optometrist, the data that you're going to be able to get is going to be coming from your electronic health records. Because you can pull up so much information about, oh, those 60 patients, 15 of them were referrals last time. So now they're coming for their second visit. Oh, second visit? How do I wow this person who's coming for the second time to my practice? Because I'm going to have to operate differently than the person who's going to be coming here for the 10th time. You know them, you don't know. So now with this one, you have to operate completely different than the one who's going to be coming to your practice for the very first time. So that's why I'm saying that when you are operating here, it forces you to think things differently. Whereas the previous two slides, you just go on about your day and it becomes very, very monotonous. So this is basically the previous journey, the journey of a patient. This is how it used to be before, or for what it was supposed to be. Now I've just added the slide, and I mean then educating the patient, examining them, educating the patient, case history, examining them, discussing the results, questionnaire for the patient, demonstrating. If you can't demonstrate what you're talking about, how are you going to sell it? How? So hold us as those companies to account, because you need to be able to demonstrate this. Then discuss the results. They come and collect the management solution, follow up. So that was what was done before, or what was supposed to be done. Now, with your electronic health records, I just put this slide here so that you can see that they used to just be Spectrum. But for example, it elevated to a whole bunch of other tools or digital tools that you can effectively utilize in your practice. So it doesn't even have to be this particular company. There's multiple other companies, right? So for me, my issue is that where do you start? Where do you start? Because you don't have the 250,000 rands to invest there. But you know what you do have? The monthly fee of 2,000 rands, for example, to invest there. So you can change things there that will then direct you and lead you and guide you to where then should we invest the bulk of our resources and focus. Let me move quicker. My thinking is that from our first book years ago, we used to say there are no such things as patients. They are consumers. So I'm not saying this, we in optometry, we're selling products. So consumers buy products. So within the consumers, there are patients, customers, clients, however you want to call it. But the wow factor for the patient who comes in presenting with a problem for the first time, wow them by educating them. Patient comes in with a problem, probe them as much as you can as the staff member. When the optometrist, and that you probe them, ask them questions that you need to ask them, all of that, build up a summary, appointment is booked for tomorrow, optometrist, Mr. Nkosi is coming tomorrow, this is why he's coming to the practice. Not, oh, we've got a patient that's booked for 10 o'clock and that's it. You should be in a position to say, Mr. Nkosi, this is what they're coming into the practice. So you're educating them, because why? If you don't set the foundations right in the beginning, you're going to find yourself buy one, get one free, buy this pack, get that for free. But if you start the process right by educating them from the onset, you lay those foundations right and you move them away from the cheapy stuff. The customer, that person who was here maybe once before, now they're coming to the practice for the very first time, you're going to wow them by creating a worthwhile experience. Wait a minute, the person comes into a practice already wearing glasses. Where did they get these glasses from? How long were they getting the glasses? What was the issues? What did they love about the glasses? What didn't they love about the glasses? You get all of that information from them when you see them for the very first time. So that why? You then know the previous practice, turnaround times were the issue for this particular practice. So if you know, for example, that this person says to you, the previous practice, things took so long, there is colleagues. The person already gave you the solution. When you help them, pick up the phone
while they are still there, you already know which lenses you're going to order. You're already at that stage. Before they even leave, call the lab. Lab, I'm going to place this order. I need it. If he said, he indicated, he never gave you a date. He just indicated urgency. You then know the turnaround times of a multifocal lens or this coating, that photochromatic lens is X amount. You want to create a worthwhile experience. So bring it forward. Make a note. We're creating a worthwhile experience on the electronic health records for that patient. You're going to win that person over in a big way. Because why? Even if you gave them an inferior product, right? Than what they used to be wearing, because maybe your economy has changed, it's affected all of us. So you maybe used to do a premium lenses, now you're not doing so many premium lenses before. So even if you've downgraded the management option, you have upgraded the expectation of the practice. What does it do? Builds confidence, builds trust. They're going to go with whatever they could recommend at the end of the day. You see how it all ties back in? But you got that information from the time the person was telling you that their main issue was not that the lenses that they were wearing were a problem. So probe, so that you don't know. The people that have been coming to your practice for a very long time, if you don't know why they kept on coming to your practice in the beginning, you won't know why they stopped coming. So you are comfortable with not having, for example, electronic health records. You are comfortable by just having Facebook and Instagram and all of that nonsense. Literally, it's just nonsense. Because why? You're not utilizing it the way you're supposed to be utilizing it. It's not directed, it's all over the place. So if it was done right, then it will make sense. But if you're not doing it right, then you're just wasting a lot of time and resources. So for example, they are like, I've been coming here for years, nothing is changing. You're still communicating with them. You're not introducing them to new technology from the lens suppliers or the frames and stuff like that. You're just saying, I know what that they Ngozi prefers, and then you're just letting it be like that. Find how do you reassure that value so that they can keep coming back. Because what you want is this guy to go out and tell the people about the experience. What you want from this guy, he should be sending you referrals like no one's business. So your online stuff is just an extra to the word of mouth that they're experiencing here. What did it cost you? 2,000 rands, 3,000 rands. Just by you tweaking your communication approaches with your patients. So something to think about. So let me go fast. I'm going to, where's my Ricky? Okay, I'm going to skip a few slides. So this, I'll try and give the conference organizers the notes, but in terms of what questions that you need to be thinking about or characteristics pertaining to our consumer, then this is what I've always been saying ever since I've actually been speaking. You need to know the expectations that people have when they're walking into your practice. And then you have to then say, for the first, as a team in your practice, make a decision. Guys, people that come to our practice for the very first time, what experience do you want them to have? People that have been coming to our practice for multiple times, what experience and so forth. So you said this, wait a minute, those multifocal wearers, we see more multifocal wearers than we do single vision wearers. What experience do you want to do? Then, what environment? Because I move around, one of the biggest things, I would say it even weighs about 60% at this stage. Company culture in the eye care industry, not even in optometry. The eye care industry as a whole is a massive problem. You all need help. Like yesterday. So that's a topic for another day. The working environment setup is unhealthy. Whether it be the corporates or the practices. Okay? Very, very unhealthy. Because here's the thing, optoms that are in here. If your vision that you have for your business and for life inspires the people that you work with, your vision becomes their aspiration. You will see them move in your business like never before. Then I know what you guys are going to say already. Obi, if we do that, they're going to find better jobs. Yes! Please! Let them go. When they go, ask them, are you going for better pay? Yes. Are you going to go for a better working environment? Yes. Are you going to go for better working conditions? I'm not working on weekends and Saturdays. Yes. Have I equipped you with things that you cannot grow beyond the practice? Yes. Wish them luck. Give them something that they go with. when the new person comes in, the standard of operation in the practice becomes at the level at which the previous one you have equipped them to. So even you as a staff member, you should constantly go out of your way to look at, wait a minute, what have I learned the past 5 years in this place? How have I developed? How have I, I'm not getting anyone in trouble. But you should constantly be looking at ways to evolve, equip yourself, develop, because you're going to, if your attitude is like that, your performance in the practice will change. The level of excellence that you'll be operating with will evolve. You're going to make the practice better. You're going to outwork yourself out of the work environment, and you're going to go to better and better places. The next person that comes in, it has forced that practice to not settle for anyone who is not as good as you are. So it's a cycle, and then constantly educate the patients.
But I need to move. Guys, your plan of action, I think I summarized this in a nutshell.
Public perception of eye care sucks. General eye care services, they're declining. The practices right now that are struggling, like proper struggling, they're providing general optometric services. Nothing else. They're struggling. It's chaos there. It's proper chaos. It's so scary. How are they surviving? Consumer preferences have evolved, but we have not evolved as a practice. So, consumer preferences have evolved. How they make payments, how they order stuff, all of that type of stuff. How are you still doing things that you were doing in 2021? If they have changed in how they do things everywhere else. Appointment making on your calendar, it has to be so synchronized that when they make appointments, it needs to tell you a story of the information that you get from the data that you need in order to exceed those expectations and deliver exceptional eye care services. So you have to evolve as a practice and personalize it. Not this thing of, if a person comes in and asks you, so how many patients are booked for this week? 10. Okay, tell me about these 10 people. Not just before business close, you are making phone calls. I don't understand, the day before, you're making phone calls to do patient reminders. Like, really, guys. You are doing patient reminders. What is that? I don't get that. What you should be doing is, team, tomorrow, we've got 4 patients booked. This is the summary of these 4 patients. How are we going to create an exceptional service for these 4 patients? It forces you to have a plan of action for each and every one of those people. And you set targets. We have not upgraded for Nasfeld in the last 4 years. And there's a note there that said she was struggling with this, but she couldn't afford it. So let's bring that conversation up again. Oh, this one, we have done this, this, and this. They actually like it when we give them information. Now there's a summary. You've printed that 1-page summary on the 4 patients that are booked for the next day. As a team, you now know, you switched on. Maybe there's a new staff member that has come in to that client who has been coming to the practice for the last 10 years, but you have not equipped the new staff member. You have not even told them about Mfoswane who is coming for the appointment tomorrow. Now what's going to happen? Client who has been coming into your practice for the last 10 years meets a new staff member whom you have not trained and educated and equipped to the level at which they're supposed to be, and then fumbles the bag, if I can put it that way, by creating a horrible experience for that patient who has been trusting your business for the last 10 years. Mentally, because why? South Africa, service delivery everywhere, going down. So now you get put in that same bag of, this practice used to be so good. Now look at it now. They're even hiring people that don't know what they're doing. That's the worst thing. Simply because you were busy focusing on, guys, did you send the reminders for tomorrow's appointments? Instead of having a plan of action on what tomorrow is going to entail. So that you then know, okay, 4 patients. Last year, on the 19th of July, we invoiced this amount. So and that was with 2 patients. Now we've got 6 patients booked for tomorrow. It means we can be able to do double of that, or 3 times that. Planning. So, and then start thinking of specialty eye care practice. Start building it. You don't have to always be thinking of the high expensive equipment. I'm just giving you an example of just one company I can think of, where you can be able to then say, okay, how am I communicating with my patients? How am I communicating the management solutions for the patient? How am I educating them on their conditions? How am I educating them on when a patient leaves, right? Instead of I think your records, when a patient leaves your practice today, after they had an exceptional service and they've collected the glasses, your system should already book that next appointment. Not you waiting for 2 years to come and do a patient recall. And you're still doing text messages, not even evolved to at least do WhatsApps. At least. You now want to do patient reminders in 2026 by using a text message. My gosh. Like how? So for me, it's a matter of utilize the software, the digital tools that are available right now. Pay a monthly subscription fee, but it elevates how you communicate with the patient throughout their journey in a phenomenal way. You elevate the experience. You elevate the practice experience and running of things.
Oh, guys, I'm in trouble. Yeah. Plan of action. Your plan of action should have the following basically. Digitizing of digital records, of patient records. So basically, this is what I've spoken about. So on a weekly basis or a monthly basis, as a team, this is what you should actually be talking about. This consumer approach, digital and social setting strategies. You look at your thing. 50, I hope you're taking records of how many people are coming to your practice in terms of why they're coming to your practice. So let's say you look like, okay, this month we had 50 people coming to our practice, and of those 50, 20 were referrals. Who sent those referrals? What were they saying about your practice? What do you want them to be saying about your practice? You see? Getting data, making a note of it. Oh, almost 50% of the people that are coming to our practice are coming from referrals. How is our referral system? Do we have a referral program? Do we have loyalty programs that we can start setting up in our practice? Now, you're changing that buy one, get one free nonsense. You're restructuring it now for focusing on that. You're now incentivizing the people that are doing the referrals, as opposed to giving everyone buy one, get one free. You see how you start looking at things differently? So your approach, from appointment bookings, like business offering improvements, distinctively unique value proposition, you need to be clear on what sets your business apart. Even if you're not having a fancy practice, your processes can be very fancy. You don't have to have a fancy practice, but your processes, by all means, those should be very fancy. And what do I mean by fancy? They should be efficient. They should be saving time. They should elevate the productivity levels of the practice. They should take away monotonous work away from the team, so that the team can focus on the fun stuff, the stuff that they actually will enjoy doing. So as a team, go back to the practices on Monday, and I hope this presentation is adding so much value that you guys are going to hold your optometrist to account. And then the optometrists who are in here, you're going to go back and look at your teams and say, guys, you know what? Let's analyze the business and start looking at what we can do differently. How do you maintain peak performance levels? Those are the elements that I highlighted there. And don't stop asking, okay, let me put on the other hat. Stop asking me, please, for those practices that I visit. Stop asking me, how is it in the market? Because I'm going to lie to you. I'm going to say, everyone is quiet. Then what are you going to do? You're going to get into a little corner and think that what you're going through is normal. Because no business consultant is going to hold you to account to say, no one's going to tell you that, oh, other practices are busy because of the following. No one's going to do that. But they're going to accept, they're going to play to your tune of saying, it's quiet in the area, in the market right now. Even in the Northwest, it's hectic, it's even worse than what it is in Gauteng. Then you get into that little corner and you think it's normal. And when you're in that little corner, ideas don't flow. You don't have anything, you're not even asking your team, hey guys, what do you think we can start doing to improve this, And you then make the horrible mistake of downgrading your products from more premium to entry level, thinking you want to save costs. So you then operate in cost-saving measures all the time instead of
profit-making opportunities. So I hope that made sense.
Oh, sales processes. Ma'am?
How much time do I have? The black and the yellow don't work. 10 minutes. Please, for anyone who judged me, who knew me before, of why I did LASIK, with the script that I have, I've been redeemed in this very moment, because no one is supposed to see what you held up there, Mariki, and I could see 10 minutes so clearly. So LASIK worked for me. And why am I mentioning this? Listen to your patients. My script was low, but because of the industry and the work that I do, I needed multiple pairs of glasses, and it became an expense for me that I had run out of companies to go and get sponsored glasses for, because I'm not in the practice. So now my frustration is I want to stay cutting edge and all that, can't afford to change glasses all the time. Now, but I can't function because my astigmatism was lying on the obliques. So even though my script was low, I was dependent on my glasses. My ophthalmologist listened, or my optometrist recommended me to the ophthalmologist, and they listened to me and said, we've got a solution for you. Your script is low, but we've got something that can actually help you. Why am I mentioning this? Listen to your patients. Listen. Get out of the rut of just doing that which you've always been doing. Start thinking things completely differently. And you will be amazed at the opportunities that get unlocked. It will be amazing. When I was in practice, I only stopped practicing now, 2019. When I was in practice, there wasn't a single patient, I think for about a period of about 6 years, that did not leave with what I recommended. Because I took the time of listening, educating, and showing them, demonstrating to them. You go with this route, this is what you're going to experience. You go with this route, this is what you're going to experience. And then I pick up the phone and I call the lab, say, hey, patient is currently wearing this, and I want to upgrade them to this. If it doesn't work and the patient comes to me after 4 months, what are the options that are having available? Are you going to give me stress over your nonsense, non-adapt policies that it has to be within a month? You see? Now it forced the company to then deal with me differently, because I held them to a different standard. Because why? I showcased a different standard to my patients. So don't be afraid. Policies are this. Educate the patient and say, hey, I vouch for this product because it's better for you and your needs. I vouch for 2 products. However, the company that does the lasers, their policy is as follows. So let me make a call and find out from there. And where did I make the call? Right in front of the patient. Because they trust me. They trust me. And I tell them, I've got the patient right in front of me. What do you guys do? It's shocking me. You only communicating with the lab that the patient is following up with their glasses that are 2 days late, and you want to find out where their glasses. Now you go into a hysteric panic, and now we are the enemy. Now we're in the other hand. We are the enemy because you did not manage patient expectations, because you forgot the turnaround times of the glasses that you were ordering to begin with. Because the turnaround times is as follows. You forgot practice, now the lab is at fault. This lab is always useless. And Murphy's law kicks in. It happens with the worst patient ever. So at least now, I'm going to go back to that. So when I walk out of here, that lab that I go to first, wherever I make my first stop, that's the lab that I work for. They're vindicated. Anyway, let me wrap up. Okay, I'm done, right? I managed to get to slide 15, guys. I'm improving. But let's wrap up. I think I shared a lot of nuggets. What I will do is, I'm also exhibiting at stand 41. When the conference ends and they ask you for feedback, tell them about this presentation. Vouch for us, vouch for me, so that the next conference, they will book us for more slots and workshops. Imagine us doing this for the whole day. That will be cool. But in September and October, we're going to be running a series of workshops that we're going to delve and spend a whole day delving into things that can add the greatest amount of value into your practice. So please come to the stand at 41, and there's no way I'm going to finish in 2 minutes. Come to stand 41, let me get your details, so that in September and October, when we're doing the the planning of those workshops, you guys would be in a position to be the first time. So please do connect with us online, but nonetheless, please come to stand 41 and let's connect there for more details. I would love to know where your practices are located so that we can then, we'll also do in-house training. So we can schedule trainings for your practice in-house and be able to add value in that regard. I really hope that you guys have enjoyed the presentation and that for the fun that we are having, there's something that each and every one of you got to take at least one nugget that you'll be able to take back in your practice. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, Obi. Very informative. And you guys can hear, we didn't talk. You could hear there was a lot of synergy, right? Because that's the way to go, right?